With the release of Starfield now behind us, although tons of us are still going to be playing this game for months to come, here are many games to be excited for from the Xbox platform from now going forward. Let's get into it. What's up, guys? Welcome back to another brand new Major Ben Gaming video. I do hope you guys are having an awesome day as always. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing, and yeah, there's tons more coming on the channel, but let's get into this video. So number one is going to be Forza Motorsport. Now this is really on the horizon now. We are so close to having this game to play, which is going to be on October 10th, and to be honest, there doesn't need to be much of an introduction to Forza Motorsport. This game is going to be phenomenal with full ray tracing on track. Graphically, it's going to be the best looking racing game to come from any developer, and I can't wait to see what we can expect to get from this. Obviously, it's launching day one in Game Pass, which is just a huge bonus to anyone who's subscribed to Game Pass. Tons of tracks to play, tons and tons of cars, loads of modifications, and as I said before, full ray tracing on track on the Xbox Series X. That is huge news for us, and I can't wait to see what this game looks like in person. Number two is going to be Microsoft Flight Simulator. Again, another one of those games is just going to be groundbreaking graphically. We all love the current Flight Simulator. I had a fantastic time playing through that game, just doing all the missions, learning to actually fly planes, doing little demos and tests of like different planes and how to land them and different weather conditions and stuff. It was really fun, but Asobo Studios is at it again after 4 years only since they brought us the other Flight Simulator. And they're aiming to release this one next year at some time. We don't have a specific date yet, but this one is going to be designed from the ground up to take advantage of modern hardware, cloud and simulation technologies, and more. It's going to be one of the most breathtaking games, and I believe in this one we're actually going to see some cool weather situations with like tornadoes and stuff like that. Now, next on the list is going to be Everwild. Speaking of the most anticipated releases for Xbox, this one is probably struggling behind the scenes. We really thought we'd be seeing this game from Rare. I believe it's a co-op adventure game, and it could be a little bit of a mess behind closed doors, but we don't really know what's going on here. But this is certainly something to be excited about. Looking at the trailers and the graphics of this game, it looks awesome. The art style is so interesting, and the world just seems really magical. So hopefully they can, you know, get together, work things out, make sure this game releases next year. If not, I expect to see it perhaps 2025, but my main thing is just make sure you finish the game in a very good state, and hopefully we can all have fun with that when it does come out. Now, Perfect Dark is the next one on the list, which was revealed 2 years ago as Microsoft's new quadruple A Studios, the Initiative first project, and since then has gone dark aside from a few interesting tidbits. Tomb Raider devs Crystal Dynamics are now heading the project, starting heavy speculation that the Initiative was struggling to get the game up to snuff. So that's the current rumor with Perfect Dark. I'm not really sure what's going on there. It's very frustrating when something like this does happen. It's just gone completely silent, but hopefully within the next year or two we can at least get a bit of news from this just to find out what's going on there. Next on the list is the Outer Worlds 2. Now, obviously, we've just had Starfield, which is going to kind of blow this out the water, but they could come back with Outer Worlds 2 in a very different type of way. According to Obsidian, development on the Outer Worlds 2 began after the first game was released in 2019, putting it in its third year of development currently, or going to the fourth, actually. This is particularly interesting since the game was only just revealed last year at Microsoft and Bethesda's showcase event. Well, there's no exact release date or window right now, or even an estimated year. We wouldn't be surprised if the Outer Worlds 2 released much sooner than anticipated. These guys have been working on it for a while, and we could potentially see this release date move to, you know, the next 2 years, which would be absolutely awesome to see. Keeps that, you know, space itch that I've got going after Starfield, and well, I'm still playing Starfield, or will be for the next few months, but it's kind of going to be cool to dive into a very similar type game from Obsidian, so I look forward to that one. 33 Immortals. Now, this game looked, we saw this at the showcase back, I think in like 2020 originally, and they've put a 2024 release date for the next game, which is 33 Immortals. There's much, I don't know, this game just looks so interesting. So as 33 Immortals is a 33-player online cooperative roguelike that will pit all players against hordes of enemies and formidable bosses with a vast array of weapons and abilities, all within a beautifully hand-drawn world with hand-drawn animations to boot. There are also an immense amount of upgrades and mechanics that will ensure no two runs are the same, making this one of the most highly anticipated roguelike titles announced at the moment. This is a game I'm super excited for. It looks really interesting, and having 33 players is just kind of ridiculous and awesome. Now, this next one is State of Decay 3. Now, State of Decay 3 was announced back in 2020 at Microsoft's E3 presentation, and to be honest, since then it's been oddly silent. Aside from being confirmed to run on Unreal Engine 5 and the Coalition helping them make it, there hasn't been much else revealed or shown by Undead Labs. There's not even a release window yet, let alone, or a release year, let alone a window, and with awful allegations surrounding the studio, we don't know if we're going to see anything anytime soon, which is a real shame. I have personally, loved playing State of Decay 2, and this one graphically looks like a massive jump up from that game, but it obviously seems to be there's some issues going on at the moment. But again, it's still a game to look forward to in the future. There's tons more to come in this video, and this is what this is about. It's about games to be excited about and look forward to. Now, Ukraine-based developers are currently working hard at Stalker 2 Heart of Chernobyl, the first game in the series after 13 years. Now, obviously there's been a lot going on in the world for this one to have development be affected, which is kind of a running theme with some of the Xbox games at the moment. This one is very, very much something to be excited for. Obviously, recently there's been people being able to actually play this game in person. From what I've heard, it's been very, very good. The gunplay, which was my main concern, has been, well, I don't know, it's been confirmed basically by people who played the game at Gamescom that it runs very, very well. The gunplay is extremely nice, and this is made on Unreal Engine 5 and will feature 4K and ray tracing support, making it easily one of the most anticipated titles for the Xbox Series X and S, of course. And this is currently got a specific, or it's not a specific window, but they're hoping to release this next year. But obviously, with, as I said, with stuff going on in the world, we are not sure what's going to happen there. Dungeons of Hinterberg is an RPG hack and slash from independent developers Microbird Games, and is coming exclusively to Xbox Series X and S platforms sometime next year. The game takes place deep in the Austrian Alps, having you control the sword-wielding protagonist as you tour the region. Now, I think this one looks gorgeous, gives me very much Hi-Fi Rush kind of art style vibes, which I really, really like. I think it looks really, really interesting, actually, and that's what I'm definitely excited. And it's good that Xbox is getting these types of games coming to their platform, because in my opinion, they didn't have enough of these types of games, and it was very, very much needed. Now, next is Ark Survival 2, which again, that was a massive game. The first one didn't release in the best state, but we can hope that this one's going to be fixed. Of course, this time it's got Vin Diesel in it as well, if people care about that. Ark Survival 2 is going to be a nice graphical overhaul compared to the first game. Not one I'm personally super excited about, but it is coming, and is a game to certainly look out for, even if it's something, you know, you're going to just try on Game Pass, give it a go, and then, you know, if you don't like it, then stop. But if you've got it on Game Pass, at least you haven't paid anything for it, and it's certainly one that it does look good from what we've seen in the trailer, so that one's interesting. Now, South of Midnight was a game that we saw at the recent showcase that looked amazing. We Happy Few was Compulsion Games' last release, and that was 5 years ago at this point, making fans curious to see what their next game would entail. And at this year's Xbox showcase, South of Midnight was finally revealed to the world. South of Midnight takes place in the American Deep South and is a third-person action game with a strong focus on the story, atmosphere, and thematic gameplay elements. While this announcement is exciting to say the least, we've got no window right now, but graphically this thing looked amazing. It was very, very different art style and something that we just weren't used to, but I think it looks really cool, looks quite dark. Excited to see what the actual game is going to be like, but again, something to be excited for. There's so much coming from Xbox right now, it's insane. Now, off the back of Starfield, of course, we're going to be talking about Elder Scrolls 6. In 2018, Todd Howard confirmed that the Elder Scrolls 6 was in pre-production, and recently we've heard since the release of Starfield, they are starting the early development stages for this game. Now, this personally, to me, is more exciting than what we have with Starfield, because I personally love the Elder Scrolls franchise. I always have. Skyrim was one of my favorite games of all time, and of course this game is going to be massive. The setting for the game has yet to be confirmed, but we know this will likely be Series X and S PC exclusive based on how Starfield and other Bethesda IPs have been treated. So don't expect to see this game obviously on PlayStation, but certainly don't expect to see the game until 2027 at the earliest, maybe even later next gen. But again, this video is about games to be excited about, you know, for the Xbox platform. Senua's Saga Hellblade 2 is another Xbox Series X and S exclusive with no release window or date, but if the gameplay trailer from last year, the Game Awards, is anything to go off, it's not going to be much longer. While it can easily skip next year, we say that Team Ninja have all the time they need, to craft yet another knockout title as they did with the original Hellblade. This game graphically looks like one of the best looking games I've seen ever. If it runs at 30 FPS, it will be frustrating, and I would love to see this game at 60, but judging by what they're doing and the way they're kind of doing the trailers at even 24 frames per second or something like that, I don't know, graphically it looks insane, and to be honest, I just can't wait to get my hands on this adventure. The first game was really cool, very different style of game, and something that I thought was very refreshing, and good to see that there was something different. So I'm very excited to see what they can do with the sequel, and graphically again, this looks absolutely insane. Clockwork Revolution is the next big RPG from InXR Entertainment and was revealed during the Xbox showcase earlier this year. The game is from the first-person perspective and is set in the steampunk metropolis of Avalon. As of the time of this video, there is no release date or window announced yet, so it's probably going to be sometime next year or the year after. Anyway, the point is, again, is very exciting. Another very different looking game, and it's amazing, as I keep saying, that Xbox isn't just sticking to their usual stuff anymore. They're kind of moving on from the constant Gears, the Halo, you know, all that stuff. Look at the titles we're getting. Look at what we're doing. Obviously, they're still going to do Gears, they're still going to do Halo, they're still going to do Forza, but look at all this stuff that we're getting on the Xbox platform exclusively, and how different these games are from what we've ever seen. And that's what I love. Like Hi-Fi Rush, that Shadow Drop was absolutely phenomenal. A game we'd never normally see from Xbox, and look what we got. Then we go on to Fable, which is another title. Obviously, we've seen a lot of this game now. It looks really interesting, very different, but I love that they've kept this awesome overarching style in the way they make the game. Graphically looks phenomenal. Can't wait to see what Playground Games does, but you know, let's let them take their time. Obviously, we want this to be perfected. We don't want any, you know, bad releases like Redfall again. We need to make sure that these games launch properly, stably, and that everyone can have the best experience from day one. So hopefully they do that. Anyway, that's my main goal there, and or my main hope there. Sorry, not that I'm working on the game, but I hope Playground Games, you know, are going to be ready to spend the time, take the time. There's no rush to get this game out. I can't imagine we're going to see this game next year. I don't reckon this is going to be until probably 2025. As much as that's sad to say, I just think 2025 is probably where this game will be. Avowed. Now, ever since this reveal in 2021, Obsidian has been hard at work on Avowed, so much that they didn't say anything for absolutely ages, and then we finally got to see stuff at the Xbox event last year, and I heard a lot of people were a little bit disappointed, saying it was very different to what they expected from the original trailer of the game. Personally, I loved the way this looked. It looked kind of like a Skyrim type game. It just looked really interesting. I'm actually more excited about this game from seeing that now, and I can't wait. And obviously you've got the trailers of these games in the background, so you can see what to expect. But this one, I would like this very much to release next year. I'm not sure if it will be ready. We don't know if it's going to be released next year or 3 years time. Like, it's obviously very varied, but this is one of my top games that I'm probably, like, after Starfield, this is probably the next big one that I'm like, I can't wait for Avowed. Because I just think it's going to be a phenomenal game. It looks amazing, it still looks interesting, and it's kind of my style of game from Obsidian, and I like to see what their next move is on this. So anyway, that's it. I believe that's like 16 or 17 games from Xbox to be really excited about with all they've got coming up. I can't wait to see what's going to be there in the future. There's probably still tons more to be announced, you know, future showcases and things, but that's what we know from Xbox at the moment, and to be honest, I have way more to be excited about on this platform than I do on the PlayStation platform. After Spider-Man, for me, apart from Wolverine and stuff like that, there's really not a lot there for me to personally be excited about. But with Xbox, there's all these amazing games with such different styles and varieties, and it just looks amazing. And the future is so bright for Xbox right now. Off the back of Starfield, which has been a brilliant game, and I'm loving it so far. Even though it's at 30 FPS, I'm having a fantastic time with it. But that's it for this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you are most excited for from all these games. And yeah, let me know. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in future videos. Bye bye for now.